My apologies. I accidentally hit the freaking home button on my camera, so allow me to continue. Do you think that slavery, and I'm always doing this now, so stupid, but whatever. Do you think that slavery could have existed, if people would just kind of do like what, say, a bee does? If a bee doesn't get back to the hive, right? If a bee doesn't get back to the hive, I'm not saying that this is the analogy that we should be worker bees or something like that, but if the bee doesn't get back to the hive, it will die. You can give it, everything that it technically needs. But if it doesn't get back to that hive, it will die. It's just a matter of time. It's almost like its soul is connected to that hive. Whether you believe that or not, whatever. I don't really care. It's just the analogy that I'm using. And yeah, sure, you've given it, like freaking sugar water and nectar and all this stuff, but it's not with its hive. And I'm telling you, across history, do you think that if we didn't care about life that much and we said, hey, this life isn't worth living, and we just seppuku'd or just kamikaze charged people, that we knew that we couldn't win, like even shackled, and we just charged people and we just got excommunicated, and that was just what human nature was? Think that slavery could happen? It couldn't. It wouldn't be able to, because how could they have someone under them if they're not willing to live? If they're not obsessed with life, then we can't use fear to manipulate them. It is what it is, So, you gotta ask at a certain point, looking at that, looking at how many guys are at the point where they just don't really care. Do you really think that a whole bunch of these guys are going to care when it's time for Haku Mass time to happen? Do you really think that they're going to care if they die when, for the most part, they just want to die already? Because I'm telling you, stop underestimating these people. Stop thinking that, because what they say on the internet, that they're unwilling to fight. They're willing to fight. Just not for the country. They're willing to fight against it. Just not for it. The level of resentment and hatred and malice that they have towards these people, and same with me, I freaking hate them too. It's justified. My hatred, my contempt is justified. Period. No, it's not that I'm 100% right about every aspect of life. Absolutely not. I'm not stupid. But my hatred and contempt for the absolute cuckery, I don't even know what to think about. Like in terms of what I could say. You have just completely screwed people out of life for the most part. Just so that you could benefit. And you haven't just done it to a couple hundred people. Not a couple thousand people. Not a couple tens of thousands. You've done it to millions of people. Millions of people. And you think that we're just supposed to be cool with that? You think that just because you're in a freaking white little building that you're safe from the malice? Let me tell you about how creative some people are. Alright. There are people out here that reach their tipping point, and let me tell you something straight up, man. These cunts will they will make Allahu Akbars if you catch my drift. They make mommy bombs. Mommy bombies, if you catch my drift. Because I don't want this stupid algorithm getting the wrong idea. Not that I care about the channel and whatnot, but still. They will do that. And there are people that have the ability to go ahead and mix radioactive chemicals with that. May not be some kiloton level, but it's still something. Do not underestimate what people will do when they have just had enough. Don't underestimate it. We are very creative and ingenuitive when it comes to X-lining each other. When it comes to just taking each other out, we're very good at that. We are very creative with that. Very creative. Unfortunately, But I see why. Because it's always someone effing with you. And really the only way that you guarantee that it stops is when they're just not breathing. It sucks. I wish that diplomacy worked. I wish that it didn't have to be that way, but that's what people respond to, sadly. It really is. I really just wish that thing, like I talked to my friend, and I feel like him and a lot of other guys, they have this nostalgia, and they just say, man, I just wish I could go back. I'm so sick of thinking about this and worrying about this, and I see where they're coming from. I feel it. I really do. But I'm not going to sit around here and pretend like everything was awesome back then. I'm not going to be dumb enough to say that. Being an adult, contrary to what people feel, it does come with its issues. I'm not going to pretend like it doesn't. But you at least have a lot more ability to do things than just trust on your parents. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. As someone who had essentially only one decent parent, the thought of like having to trust people who have essentially proven that you can't trust them, like going back to that, no way, dude, no way, not me. Couldn't be me. There are pros and cons to everything. There are trade-offs to everything, and I know how rough it feels as an adult, but you wouldn't feel that way if we had, certain things. We wouldn't hate work if that work guaranteed that we had a roof over our head. If that work guaranteed that we'd have enough money to maybe take a vacation from time to time. And it doesn't have to be around the goddamn world. Why does everyone think that when you say vacation, it's like go around the world? Sometimes it's just, I just want to sit at home for like a month. And then, like get up when I want to, go out when I want to, and just relax. Let my freaking body recuperate from the freaking work that I have had to do to get by. Unfortunately, for the most part, a lot of people say you're asking for the heavens with that, which is a pity. It is, but I don't know. But I say this because like I mentioned, I'm not a doomer. I'm not black-pilled or anything. I just see the world for what it is. But you know what? I still believe that I can persevere. I'm not going to pretend and say that I can change the world. I'm not some jackarse that thinks like that. But I can certainly get to a point where I can get something in it, Maybe I can't be 100% happy. And actually, I think it's a factual statement that you will never be 100% happy. There's always going to be things that you want that just can't happen. I wish I could be with Pokemon. That ever going to happen? Nope. I really do. Wish I could be with Pokemon. A lot of people talking about these harem animes and fantasy worlds that they want to be in. I just wish I could be with Pokemon. I wish I could be with something that would love me, and not treat me like a freaking commodity. Not treat my labor as it's, my obligation. It's my little honorable service. It'd be nice. And even if it's not Pokemon, maybe just talk to animals. You wonder what's going on in their head and, their thoughts about stuff. That'd be nice. But I can't have that. But I can get, maybe hopefully 70% happy. Maybe 80% happy. I think if I could get 70%, I'll be happy. If I could get 80%, I'd be very content with that. Because for the most part, like I said, I don't really want much to begin with. I'm not asking for a massive house. A small one's fine. Heck, I can make a shed work, for God's sakes. I can make a shed work. Depending on how big the shed is. I can make a shed work. I can live in that. Who do I have to impress? I don't have a family. I don't have a woman. I can be happy with that. I'm not asking for tons of money. I'm not very influenced by this arbitrary construct created by humanity to say that they're more valuable than you because they have something you don't. Because that's all it really is. I need to be more valuable than you. I need to convince you that your life is meaningless unless you're doing X. And if you're not doing X, then you won't get this thing. This little money, this little value. That doesn't really have value. So, I'm not motivated by that. not motivated by vagina when I could just pay for a vagina. So, I'm not pussy motivated either. I just want to be content and free. That's all. That's all. And I think a lot of guys can probably agree with that. That I just want to be okay. And it seems as though that's something that is very, very challenging to get in today's day and age. And it's kind of funny because, I'm telling you this right now, folks. Like, if you got a friend in your life, try and, check on them. Because my friend kind of, said, hey, listen, thank you for just being here with me. Even if it's just playing video games, just thank you. And I said, listen, man. If I had all the money in the world and I could do anything that I want and it was free, and I was just, financially free, I would just hang out with you for the rest of my life. People talk about soulmates as though it has to be this romantic thing and stuff. And I'd say that if a soulmate does exist, it's my best friend. I just want to make memories with him. We've made memories, both positive and negative. We've comforted each other through some rough stuff and had some good laughs. And I would hope that I could be with him through a lot more laughs. And I'll stand by him through those tough times as well. I'd say if a soulmate exists, that's basically him. Because no, it's not about romance. It's just about having someone who's got your freaking back, man. And I'm convinced now that if it does exist, it's 9 times out of 10 going to be a friend rather than a lover. Because I feel like friends usually understand you better in a lot of aspects. Because if it's a lover, unless you get down and sword fighting or liquor licking, a man is going to understand a man more than a woman can understand a man, and vice versa. So, if you do have friends, check up on them, man. And don't think it's so hard to make friends. It's not as hard as you think. My friend mentioned, a nice guy while he was getting some food, and he wanted to, think about how he could, ask to hang with him. And I was like, well, listen, I know that it might be creepy if you asked for a number, because in today's day and age, they might be thinking, oh, you get down like that, and, But you could just say, hey, do you play video games? You got a gamer tag, And you can hit it off from there. I've met some really cool people in my life just from playing video games, and, if I did have a lot more financial freedom, it would be cool to meet some of them, It would be cool. But I guess I'm just kind of going to close this. It just really pains me that even now, they're just lying to you, and they're just, oh, you should have your life's ahead of you. And listen, I don't know what that entails, I really don't. I don't know what that entails. Am I going to be in a day and age where it is just a complete luxury to have a job, where you are either living with your parents or you're homeless? Is that what I have to look forward to? Because some people believe that, oh, November, don't worry. Orange Man will fix this. Because I hope you're not stupid enough to believe that come Allah, the jackass that's in charge of border, and you can look at how wonderful that's going in this country, right? That she honestly has your best interests at heart. But I'm not going to pretend like Orange Man does, because he's gynocentric as hell. So, it's you're just picking whatever seems more reasonable. And listen, one is reasonable and one is just not. It's not even a contest. But I'm not going to pretend 4 years of that is just going to put your life, in order, 4 years and you're just going to be all good. I'm not going to say that at all. Because the same way that someone can do that, someone can undo that. Someone can just take away everything that the past person did, and just undo all of that. So, when someone says, you've got your life ahead of you, What do they mean by that, you know? Do they mean, because listen, I'm not, again, one of these people that thinks that you're entitled to only positivity in life. You're only supposed to experience good. You're only supposed to experience joy. I'm not saying that, but is it too much to ask that I have my bare necessities met? Is it too much to ask that getting it hired is accessible and feasible? I was looking, because like I said, 70% of working men are not hired. They were trying to say that, oh, it was only around 10 million. It's way more. It is way, way more than 10 million. It's way more. I am looking at these neat discords and all of this stuff. I'm telling you, it's way more than that, man. These people are not hiring us because they've got all of these freaking migrants, these invaders coming in, and they don't need to pay them anything. They'll shut up. They'll accept that $5 an hour because they're getting supplemented in other ways. Food stamps, cars, housing. They're getting that and you can't get anything. And they tell you that it's not your right to be angry. Shove it up your arse. Good joke. I will be upset. I will be furious with how I have been treated. With how all of my other brothers, whether you want to admit it or not, my fellow XYs have been treated. I will be angry about it. It's irritating to constantly have someone telling you that it's all your fault for everything because you freaking exist when you're doing whatever you can to just get by out here. It's irritating. It really is. I just hope that better times are ahead of us. I don't know that they will happen. I doubt it. I'm a very jaded, cynical bastard. I'll say that. I'm willing to say that. I can accept who I am. But I hope I'm wrong. I've been wrong about a lot of stuff. But I really hope for our sakes that I'm wrong about that. I'll just conclude it here, folks. I could keep ranting, but I should really just get inside and try and get some sleep. Hope you guys got something out of it. I don't want to say enjoy it because it was kind of a downer, I'll admit, but hope you guys got something out of it. Hang in there, gents. God bless. I'll see you in the next one.